Hello, Bruin fans. Todd Reeves here with your UCLA Daily report, part of the Fan Arch Network. Today is Monday, March 16th, 2026. Glad you joined me here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you have any comments, leave them at the bottom. I always appreciate it. Well, UCLA's men's basketball team just got done playing in the Big Ten tournament, and there were some positives and negatives. I mean, obviously, the last time I talked to you, they just beaten Rutgers, and then on Friday night, they got a huge victory against Michigan State and Tom Izzo. UCLA lost Tyler Bilodeau in that game, and we'll get to that later. But boy, the Bruins played as probably the most I wouldn't say their best defensive game, but boy, they really exerted some energy out there, really played hard. It was a physical battle like it always is against Michigan State, but to come back after the debacle in East Lansing and losing by 23 and getting the victory without Tyler Bilodeau for at least half the game. I mean, it was a phenomenal performance by Donovan Dent and Trent Perry. I mean, all the guys contributed. I mean, even, the guys that did the little things like Eric Freeney and Jamar Brown and Xavier Booker, although Xavier Booker fouled out in the game and didn't contribute a whole lot. But I mean, UCLA's energy again and effort on the defensive end was outstanding. And as they said many times on the broadcast, Michigan State just could not guard Donovan Dent. I mean, he was just going nuts. He was getting wherever he wanted to, and he'd get into the paint, and if he didn't finish at the rim, he would kick it over to one of the Bruin shooters, whether it be Sky Clark or Perry, and boy, they were knocking down their threes. It was just a phenomenal game, a game that UCLA led by, I believe, as much as 15 points in the second half, and then late in the game, Michigan State made a run and made it a close game, but UCLA hit all their free throws down the stretch. Again, thank you very much, Trent Perry, who did most of that free throw shooting. And the Bruins held on for the 4-point victory. And then they moved on to the semis on Saturday, where they faced Purdue, a team they had beaten earlier this year at Pauley Pavilion, in which Tyler Bilodeau hit a game-winning three late in the game. Bilodeau did not play in this one, and neither did Donovan Dent for very long, as he left the game after 10 minutes with a calf strain. And again, we'll talk about that later. But you still got to give the Bruins credit. They were down 10 at halftime. Trent Perry, though, led them back. He scored 15 points and dished out 9 assists, as he had to take over the point guard duties from Donovan Dent. And he was just tremendous in the game. Bruins cut the lead to a few points late, but and actually tied the game with a little over 2 minutes to go. But Purdue held on and finished it off down the stretch, and Purdue went on to win the Big Ten tournament championship. So, overall was a great performance. You couldn't ask for anything more from the Bruins, especially them losing their top two players. So, let's see what that brings, in this coming week with those injuries. And like we said, what about those two stars and those injuries? Bilodeau, when I first saw him go down in that Michigan State game, it really looked like that could be an ACL to me, because he kind of got his knee hit by the Michigan State player, and then he kind of dug his foot into the court, and I thought, and that's when he then grabbed his knee. I thought maybe something popped or something like that, but it turns out they're saying it's a mild sprain. Sure, it's not mild to Tyler, but he's supposed to be back for the NCAA tournament. He obviously did not play against Purdue. They sat him out as a precaution, and will he play? I mean, all signs point towards yes. But if he does, what's his health level at? Is he 70%? Is he 80%? I mean, who knows? But the way the bracket has been revealed, and again, we'll get to that in a moment, it will be a significant loss if they don't play with him, and really probably a season-ending loss, because I don't think they can get through the tough teams that they will have to face in the NCAA tournament without Bilodeau, nor will they be able to go very far without Donovan Dent. Like I said, strained a calf. They called it a mild strain. He did it against Purdue. Only played 10 minutes. He had, I believe, 2 points and 1 assist in that game before he left. Trent Perry again held down the point guard duties, but they really need Donovan Dent, and they need a healthy Donovan Dent. It can't be someone who's compromised and limping out there. So that one is a little bit concerning, especially when you're talking calf injuries, because those things are a little bit like hamstring pulls where, you strain it a little bit and then, next thing you know, you think you're okay and you push it and then you strain it again, and this time even worse. Or in some cases, and I don't want to go there, but there have been some calf strains that have led to Achilles tears soon thereafter. The number one person I can think of who did that was Kevin Durant a few years ago in the NBA Finals, where he strained a calf in one of the games, and then the next game he came back, tried to play through it, and tore his Achilles. So we're not going to talk about any torn Achilles or anything like that. Let's not go that far, but let's cross our fingers, hope that Donovan Dent and Tyler Bilodeau play. Again, it looks like from all the reports out there that they will play. They should be good to go. But again, the question isn't whether they will play, but if they do, what's their health status like? What's their percentage? Are they 80% healthy? Are they 75%? Are they close to 100%? Who knows? But one of the good things about recovering from these injuries is the bracket, which came out yesterday. The bracket revealed that UCLA is in the East. But most importantly, they don't play until Friday. So that gives Bilodeau and Dent an extra day to rest and recuperate from those injuries. They will open up against Central Florida. And the coach of Central Florida, of course, is someone that's familiar to not only Bruin basketball, but Bruin fans, and that's Johnny Dawkins, who used to coach at Stanford for many years when Stanford was in the Pac-12 as well as UCLA. And UCLA did pretty well against Stanford and Johnny Dawkins, so I believe this will be the first time that they've played Dawkins since he has been at Central Florida. UCF out of the Big 12, they moved up into the Big 12 a couple years ago when the conferences expanded. We'll get more into Central Florida and their strengths and weaknesses tomorrow. But right now, UCLA is in the East region. They open up Central Florida in Philadelphia on Friday. Then if they win, they're more than likely going to have to face a very tough UConn team. Danny Hurley really had the team rolling until they just got absolutely steamrolled by St. John's and Rick Pitino in the Big East Championship game. They absolutely just crushed Connecticut. So it'll be dependent on what Connecticut team shows up and also what UCLA team shows up if UCLA is able to get by UCF. And if UConn can reach the second round, which more likely they will. But it's in Philadelphia, and UCLA does not do well outside the West Coast this year. Other than the Big Ten tournament, their only win outside the West Coast, I believe, was Penn State. I believe. So, it's not a great setting for the UCLA to play in. And in fact, many years ago, if you can even look back during the I believe the Ben Howland era. Yes, the Ben Howland era. They played in Philadelphia in the NCAA tournament and lost in the second round and pretty much got dominated by Villanova. So let's hope that doesn't happen again. But we can talk about tournament stuff a lot as the week rolls along. And like I said, UCLA will play on Friday against Central Florida. So, and you talk about the tournament. I have a question for you, Bruin fans, and that is, what's a successful run? How far do the Bruins need to go for you to be happy? What do Bruin fans expect out of this team? Obviously, they expect to win in the first round. When you're UCLA and you're the 7th seed and you're playing Central Florida, the Bruin fans expect to win there. There's no doubt about it. If they lose in the first round, it's a failure. There's no two ways about it. But if they get that victory, then they face UConn. Do they have to beat UConn and get to the Sweet 16 to please you UCLA basketball fans? Do they need that victory? Or what if they're just competitive? And let's say they lose by 5 or 6 points. Is that good enough? Now, obviously, if they get blown out, that'll probably be pretty disappointing. I can't imagine too many Bruin fans being excited about getting blown out, even though UConn is a quality team. They're a 2 seed, and they absolutely deserve a 2 seed. In fact, they were talked about as being a 1 seed coming into the Big East Conference tournament. But after the crushing that they received from St. John's, the 1 seed was out of the question. But they are a very solid 2 seed. And Danny Hurley is going to be all over his team, showing them that St. John's film and basically telling them all week about all the mistakes they made. So they're probably going to come out like gangbusters, especially when you're facing a team like UCLA. You can't take them lightly. So, we'll see how it goes. But, commenting down below. Let me know. What's a successful run? What do they have to do? Is just 1 victory and a competitive game against UConn enough? Is the Sweet 16 enough? If they face, let's say, down the road, if they face Michigan State, a team they just beat in the Sweet 16, do you expect them to win that one? Does it have to be an Elite 8? Who knows? You tell me. For me, I think a Sweet 16 is enough, but I don't speak for every fan, so let your voice be heard and let me know what's good enough. What result would you look back on and think, that was a good season, that was acceptable, but we need to do better. But for this season and this team, that was good enough. Well, I just want to say one more thing before I get out of here on this Monday, and that is I just want to give another shout out to the UCLA women's team, who just got a number 1 seed in the women's tournament. They are the overall number 2 seed in the entire tournament. I know a lot of Bruin fans wanted them to be the overall number 1, but that was, again, UConn and Gina Auriemma, who got the overall number 1. But UCLA has only lost 1 game all year. UConn's undefeated, so you can see why they did it the way they did. But UCLA, is probably a co-favorite with UConn to win the national championship. So it'll be interesting to see how far the UCLA women's team goes in their tournament. Well, that'll do it for today's UCLA Daily. We'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday, talking more UCLA basketball and the NCAA tournament coming up. So until then, take care, Bruins fans, and we'll see you later on. Take care, everybody.